We've arrived at the fourth episode of My Adventures with Superman. And what happens in this episode actually happens one episode sooner than I thought it would. I honestly thought they would have reached probably to like episode 5 before this happens, but we get it in episode 4. So let me go through what happens here and try to run down exactly how all of this plays out, and it doesn't, like usual, make much sense when you think about it carefully. But all right, let's go. So the episode starts off with Lois rightfully complaining that Superman is a liar because she's saying that, he dodged every question that she asked him during the interview. And then Clark, when she's talking to Clark at the moment, I'm going to start up front, there's some heavy flirting between the two of them in this episode. But all right, so she's complaining to Clark about it. And then he literally says the very thing he should have told her when she was asking him the questions. What he says to her is that maybe Superman is just a nice guy who's been blessed with these abilities and just wants to use them to do some good, which is pretty much what I said he should have said last time. You understand me? But no, that's supposedly supposed to be something. So anyway, Jimmy shows up, and I have something to talk about when it comes to Jimmy just now, but Jimmy shows up, and he and Lois have decided to start checking tabloid ads about, strange UFO sightings and all kind of strange events and things to get some information on Superman because they can't find anything on him. You understand me? Now, it's really sad. Honestly, it's really sad the way this show keeps trying to mock the idea of an alien while literally everybody else is trying to deny the fact that there are aliens, even though there's no other way to prove Superman's existence other than the fact that he's an alien, while you're trying to say that, it's rational, that most people don't think about it. It's really stupid. Had you just addressed it early on and he had said that, well, he's an alien, then at least you would have had something to build on in regards to all these weird sightings and things may have actually had some truth behind them. But they don't do that, so it's really just kind of stupid. So Perry assigns them to go to cover this gala event held by Dr. Anthony Ivo at his Mesotech company that he's going to be unveiling some new things. And basically, Anthony Ivo is just a poor man's version of Tony Stark, just a whole lot more crazy, a whole lot more criminal, and a whole lot more stupid. That's pretty much it. So they're getting ready to go, and Jimmy has some magazines, and one of them have a story about 15 years ago. It had some flying boy in Kansas. Guess who that is? So Clark pulls out the page, pulls it up and pushes it into his jacket pocket. And it'll come back to haunt him in a little bit. Don't worry about that. Right. Then Lois shows up. And, it wouldn't kill her to wear a dress. Honestly. I'm not saying that the outfit she had on was bad. It wasn't fantastic. But it wasn't bad. But it wouldn't kill her to wear a dress. Try to be more feminine. Try to look a bit more appealing. You're going to a gala, okay. That doesn't happen. So, she and Clark are flirting heavily. And before I even get into what happens at this gala, let me address this thing about Jimmy Olsen, who's a character I haven't covered much in the last few videos that I've done on these episodes, because he basically has no personality. What Jimmy has boiled down to is just an annoying black guy that is a third wheel that nobody wants around. That's it. He constantly sticks himself in between Lois and Clark for no real reason. Every time they're having their goo-goo-eye moments, he just pops in. Yeah, 3 friends going out to have fun. Wait. You're like, why are you even there? You're literally providing nothing else to anything. I mean, you're supposed to be the photographer, and you somehow managed to make that even unimpressive. You're just not doing anything. That's the thing about it. It's really pathetic with it on everything, because all they literally had to do was just race swap him, and that was good enough. And like somebody said in my comments, Jimmy Olsen is a white guy with red. He's a white guy with red hair and a white sounding name. Literally never had a chance. And they're right. They've done nothing with the character. That's it. You just made him black, and that's all. You just made him black, and now he's just an annoying third wheel black guy. That's it. It's really freaking pathetic and stupid, but they just keep pushing that at it. So anyway, they get to the gala. And as usual, Lois is at it again. And you learn things about her as this series has gone along. But in this episode, you learn very clearly that Lois Lane is not a good reporter at all. She goes to this gala and there's some important people there, like a senator and mayor and this person, that person, So you want to be an investigative reporter, you have to learn the art of choosing people. Choosing people. You put on a nice dress, you doll yourself up, you're a beautiful woman, you go in there. It's human nature, especially when it comes to men. They will let their guard down around a woman, they will talk, they will flirt, whatever. You will get information out of them. That's how you do it. No, you came there dressed in pretty much the same thing you always have on. There's a little twist here, that's about it. And rather than you try and smooth anybody, she just charges at them like a bull in a china shop, recorder pointed out in front. Excuse me, Senator, Lois Lane, do you have any comments on your recent bribery allegation? And she keeps going around to everybody doing that, and they just start to literally avoid her like the plague. How were you expecting to get anything out of anybody like that? You have to be subtle. You have to know when to push, when not to push, how to work your sources. That's how you do as a reporter. But she's not doing that. It's like every episode she just keeps getting worse and worse, and you have to wonder why. So Clark goes to talk to Anthony Ivo, who apparently the chairman of a Mezotech, Curtis, and the board wants to vote him out because he's a paranoid lunatic who doesn't do any blasting thing, and it's just absolutely and utterly a complete waste of time. So he goes to talk to him and one than the other, and then Ivo tells him that he will give him an exclusive and introduce him to some of the best ladies at this gala, and they show some women there in dresses, multicultural, different body types and everything, but they're all pretty women, no problem with that. And then when he gets to Lois, he's like, oh God, no, not her. Oh, you. And it's clear that they put that in there as some kind of, okay, Lois is like this, and this she's going against the normal gender norm or the normal acceptable this. So the fact that he doesn't like her shows that he's such an awful person, or kind of thing. I mean, I'm just saying, spruce yourself up a little bit. Would it kill you to wear a dress? I know somebody's going to say the whole, oh, what's wrong with her wearing pants and she could do this and the whole short hair and the tomboys. I mean, okay, yes, you could have short hair as a woman and rock it damn well and have on a dress and look good on that. Because I mean, she's not unattractive. If she put on a dress only, she could look very and she could do that. You understand me? But you have to know the event that you're going to and what you're going to get into. She doesn't do that. So what Ivo says pisses off Clark, so he starts to talk about all the allegations of the illegal stuff that he does. So Ivo has security throw him out. Lois comes, gets him back, takes him back inside, and she wants to sew his jacket. Now again, as I say, she could look a little more appealing, but I will give credit where credit is due. There's this shot where she's walking back and she's taking off her jacket, and I'm going to be honest with you, she has a nice ass. I'm not even going to lie on that point. She has a nice ass. Really nice. Okay. And then, again, two things in regards to this. We get to find out that Lois there, and she has daddy issues. Because, of course, she must have daddy issues. They try so much to try and, as they say, modernize this character, but you keep falling back on this trope that never worked with Lois to begin with. Yes, Lois Lane has always had some issues with her father. But she's always established herself as this badass, kick-ass reporter. And she doesn't really necessarily need his approval for anything. You understand? I mean, they don't see eye to eye because of her job. But she respects herself enough to know that she doesn't need his approval to be what she has to be, anything like that. Whereas this Lois is still, having her daddy issues and acting like this is such a big problem and all get us there. And then, as I mentioned before, this heavy flirting between her and Clark whole time in this episode. And, it's gotten a little annoying to be honest with you. You're not 13-year-olds. You're not teenagers who have now known each other and you're just kind of blushing like I think. No, you're adults, just bang and get it over with. But you're never going to do that, so they keep just dancing around this. There's this point where Clark takes off his jacket and you could see muscles and things and she's staring him down and all of this. I mean, I'm not saying that, Clark usually wears big clothes to the eye, but you can't even hide it with this because he's such a big guy, you kind of see it all the time. And she's clearly attracted to him. He's clearly attracted to her, but he just keeps dancing around. So while they're there, they discover this room that Ivo has with a whole bunch of technology, exactly like what Leslie Willis and Intergang have, because apparently everybody have it now. It's just strewn across the city. That's it. So when they find that, Ivo then reveals his new technology thing, the Parasite 1.0 armor. And it's so he developed this armor to kill Superman. Right? So he decides to throw his board chairman Curtis out the window. Clark changes into Superman, saves him, goes in there, and he traps everybody in this kind of cage-like energy thing, and he starts to attack Superman. And the suit absorbs kinetic energy. So anytime that somebody literally attacks the suit just gets stronger. And he's slapping around Superman as usual. So what happens? Lois and Jimmy realize that Ivo's underling, whatever they want to call him, is the one controlling the energy thing. So they go into the control room. Lois punches him out. They turn it off, which saves Superman because once again he's getting the snot beaten out of him. And then again, I will give credit where credit is due. Superman does realize that Ivo's suit is absorbing the energy from him, so he stops fighting back and the suit starts to lose energy. This alien tech doesn't make any kind of sense, because how do you design a literal parasite suit that literally absorbs energy, but in the literal second it stops absorbing this energy, it just shuts down? Wouldn't the energy that it already had absorbed take a while before it burns out? But no, it just shuts down in 10 seconds flat. It runs out of energy. So what does it do? It starts draining the energy from Ivo himself, and which it ends up leaving him deformed as Superman rips the suit off. And of course, he's all, deformed and thinking and asking Superman, what's his angle and all kind of thing. I mean, the guy's an idiot. There's no other way to put it than that. He's an idiot. So once again, Clark and Lois are there talking and they're flirting. She kisses him on the cheek, and apparently that's, some literally amazing accomplishment by two of them because she kissed him on the cheek. Okay, fine. He puts his jacket over her, so they go on, and okay, she goes back to the office now and decides to rework her Superman evidence board using in different articles and stuff like that. Okay, one thing I did forget. Since this series has started, Lois has been calling Clark. That's it, she's been calling him Clark. Yet somehow, halfway through this episode, she just suddenly starts calling him Smallville, out of nowhere. Now, originally, Lois called Clark Smallville because it was kind of a slang, because, he was from Smallville, he was from Kansas, and she thought he really didn't know his stuff, so she was calling him Smallville. But when she realized that, he's a damn good reporter, he's kind, he's understanding, he's all these sort of things. The nickname stuck, but it became something more as a sign of respect then. But you don't get that here. She just calls him Smallville out of nowhere. And they're setting it up for what happens at the end now. So what happens then? She's reworking the evidence board with all the different sightings and stuff around Kansas and all that kind of thing. She reaches into the jacket pocket that Clark gave her and pulls out the article of the flying boy from Kansas. And then boom, she puts it together that Clark Kent is Superman. Once again, Lois Lane is not a very good reporter because they just literally spoonwalk that thing right up to her there. You understand me? So I was not shocked by this because I literally honestly thought that mostly by episode 5 they would have done this, but they've done it now by episode 4. And based on the little previews that we've gotten from the next episode, it's pretty damn clear that she's figured out he is Superman, and he literally does everything to just cement that fact for her. So once again, you have yet another episode. Stupid villain using technology you shouldn't have access to, and when they go back to check for the technology, it's been mysteriously taken away by Task Force X, who at this point is most likely letting these people use this technology just to test Superman, because everybody have it, right? 2, we learn that Lois Lane is not a very good reporter at all, doesn't know how to schmooze people, doesn't know how to get things done. 3, we learn that Superman will once again get his ass kicked and then saved by Lois and then figure out something shocking in the end to do it. And 4, she literally figures out he's Superman because they literally spoon-fed everything straight to her. Setting her up to putting the paper thing in Clark's pocket, and he forgot about it. Suddenly calling him Smallville out of nowhere, which is setting up for the whole reference to Kansas. And then once again, putting everything together, she suddenly just realizes he's Superman. There was literally nothing to hide the fact that he is Superman. You understand me? Like I said last time, Clark Kent has always been kind of like a shield for Superman. Nobody suspects Superman would literally want to have a civilian identity, or even better, be a mild-mannered reporter. But in this thing, it's pretty much clear that, Clark Kent and Superman are the same person. They literally act the same. So, yet again, another episode where everything just walks itself right up there and doesn't do anything to really portray any kind of actual story going on. Final rating for episode 4 of My Adventures with Superman. Yet again, I will give it another 1 out of 5. It just keeps scraping itself along, but nothing is really happening. And at this point, it's pretty much predictable exactly where this series is going and exactly what's going to happen. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You'll notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.